Welcome to the channel. I've been recently very busy with my everyday work, so I'm sorry about the delay between the last video and now. Well, here is a camera I'm going to represent. So what is this? This is, well, let's remove this cap. I can read you what it says. There's Goerz Berlin Job Anastigmat Sailor and so on. So basically this camera was made by Goerz. The cap I think might not be original, might be, and the cable or the string as well could theoretically be originals. This is actually quite a special camera. So this was made by Goerz and has a nice feature here in the back. Here's again the part where you can view the image like in the previous cameras. I can show you. Okay, this one doesn't even have the glass. It's actually broken a long time ago. But here you can see a text. Goerz Anschuetz, Lisa something. He was the man behind of the shutter, which is now used still in, well, almost every, not every, but many digital cameras even today. So the focal shutter type often still used. So it says here Goerz Anschuetz. I will put a link in the description to him, but he was basically an inventor, and Goerz was, as I believe, the first one that used his shutter technology to make cameras. This is not the first one. The first ones look very different, but this is from an earlier batch. I think this is from somewhere end of 1880s. This was not a rare camera, so this one became obviously very popular very quickly because of the invention of a shutter. What was the big thing in the invention? Well, it allowed you to take kind of momentary frozen pictures of running, fast-moving objects. Before that, there were some shutters, but they really didn't work so well. So be able to take accurate pictures, fast-moving objects, that was a complete novelty. And this shutter made it possible. And this one has the original shutter because of the red text here. I don't know, patent or whatever description, but there it is. Name of the proud inventor. Beautiful leather. I had to replace few screws here. Some was beyond recognition, beyond possible to salvage. Here's a typical front side. You can look through it. On top here is a table which shows the shutter speeds. Basically it's number and number, kind of like a data sheet. And here then you can, it's very difficult to see, but these are various numbers in them. By putting the correct combination, you can then adjust the different features in the mechanism and get the correct exposure time for your film. There it says CP Goerz Berlin, so it was made in Berlin. I actually one time visited in Berlin the factory, the location of the factory where this was made. It still exists today, their test site, everything in the factory. It's now a few years ago, that place was some sort of not industrial, but rather like arts university, arts academy, something like that place. So the place still exists. Yeah, beautifully made. No chrome, of course, didn't exist back in the days. So it's nickel plated. Lens is there. And this one is metal. And if you pull this out, let's see, this one, and they all have a slightly different mechanism. Well, to be realistic, since this is one of the first shuttered cameras with an actual real fast shutter, to have momentary exposures of things, so this was also one of the first cameras to have this kind of like strut folding mechanism here. This is, instead of many others which are bellows, this was just like leather folding like this on both sides. So these are all original parts. I'm not sure if this is original. It looks like very old black paint, so maybe it was just painted black, because I think it was also nickel plated. And someone just decided to paint it black. Most likely the original photographer wanted to keep it hidden in the dark, for whatever reason. No, didn't want any reflections from it. I mean, you can see the same here. The person had chosen a lens with very kind of not so much bright features. Of course, these are just worn out, but brass and aluminum and whatever. Here you focus the lens from this lever here, moves back and forth. With this one you can adjust the height in the perspective of the image. So basically it has all the possible features. It's very nice to hold. View from here, and imagine this is what I think it was from 1889. I can be wrong a few years here and there, but well, anyway, this is way over 100 years old, this camera. And can you make it work? Actually, yes. I'm surprised some of the shutters which use the fabric, like this one, much newer ones have been completely damaged and destroyed, and you need to replace the shutter, a lot of parts. While some other makers, same mechanism, same looking materials, have survived perfectly over 100 years. Well, yeah, you could take pictures with this one. As this is one of my oldest cameras, I'm not taking pictures with it. I have a few times operated the mechanism though. It makes kind of like clonk sound. Not so strong, but kind of a clear clunk when it goes through, a bit like a guillotine-like sound. So, definitely has been used, also taken care, but yeah, starting to show its quite long age. This is actually, you know, you usually easily associate cameras of the time to be big, bulky, with a tripod and so on. No, they were not. This is a small camera, very high quality images takes, extreme controllability of all kind of exposure features. And I mean, it still exists, it still works. So yeah, they did know how to do good stuff already back then. We just often tend to see only the cheap stuff. I mean, this wasn't a cheap camera back then, by no means. So we tend to often in images, movies, we tend to see the cheap, boxy, big cameras. Well, they're big and boxy and simple and like that because they were cheap. But it doesn't mean that nothing better existed. This was the better thing. Well, few, let's say 120 years ago or something, at least, or even more. Thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and on to the next camera.